If any of you have stopped by my stream, you know that I tend to play Valorant a lot. I play it very competitively. I don't tilt. And a lot of people ask me, how do I do it? How do I focus in the game and not get angry, get upset, get tilted, right? There's a few reasons. This video is gonna be a little unscripted, but that's because there's no scientific method. This is kind of my experience. They're just kind of general ideas that you have to implement into your game. And the first one being ego. Get rid of it. Ego serves nothing but to disappoint, right? And there's a difference in confidence and ego. Confidence is expecting to win, but being thoroughly surprised when you lose. Ego is expecting to win, but not being able to accept a loss, right? And the key difference here is that ego will make you tilt. You need to get rid of an ego. If you're losing, you need to find out why you were losing. You need to not blame your teammates. You need to not get angry, think they're cheating, right? You need to just accept you could do better, right? You could do better. Then you need to spend more time focusing on what you could be doing better and less time on getting angry. So that's the biggest thing, is that you gotta get rid of your ego, right? Second big thing is remember that ranked is practice. That's it. Like, you think it's some big, scary, like really important thing. This rank defines my skill. If I lose this rank, I got worse as a person. I got worse as a player. No, that's not how that works. Like, the thing is you go up and down. Sometimes you have a loss, like you have a loss streak for not your fault, just bad luck, right? It happens. And you need to understand that you need to stop playing to win ranked games. You need to play to get better. This is kind of more of a rank up tip, but it applies to tilting as well, because if you put so much emphasis on every single game, like, you're gonna lose games. And if every single game means the world to you, you're gonna get upset. That's just inevitable, right? These aren't championships, right? They don't happen once a year. You didn't work thousands of hours just to get to this one match. If you lose, GG, go next. You go to the next game, right? There is not a huge stake. You need to treat these games as practice, or else they will stop you from playing because you're getting tilted. The tilt will make you play worse. It's just, you need to focus on practice. You need to focus on getting better. Then once you're in the championship game, you can get a little upset if your teammate who you've been playing with is throwing. But you know what? You're on a team with him. You're probably not going to get upset at him because he's your friend, right? The third thing I can think of really is you need to remember that losses happen, right? Sometimes you get, like, sometimes you'll have an amazing game and your team will lose, right? You'll, like in Valorant, right? You'll end up in a 1v5. Your entire team died. You kill 4 of them, right? But you died to the last guy. And you're upset at your team. You're like, I got 4 kills and we still lost the round, right? But then you kind of blame your team, but then without realizing, well, you could have done better. But the thing is again, back to the team thing, more important is that sometimes you get a bad team. That just happens. Some games you literally just cannot win. I mean, think about it, like some of the best players in the world, right? Like Tens, Crashies, like a lot of these people, Food, like they don't have 100% win rate because some games are just losable. Right? Some games you just lose, and that's the fact of it. And you need to not let those losses that are inevitable prevent you from factoring a win. Like, because there's 3 kinds of games. There's games that are unwinnable, unlosable, and games you have an impact on, right? And so why would you let a game that's unwinnable affect a game that you have an impact on, right? Because you're just gonna, again, you're gonna get mad because a game you just lose. That just happens, right? But you also need to remember, I guess is like the fourth thing, is that don't worry about throwers. Don't worry about bad people, because if you yourself are a good player, right? Again, this is specifically to Valorant, like the numbers. If you are a good player, then only 4 people on your team have the chance to be a bad player. 4 people, right? That sounds like a lot when you consider that the enemy team has 5 people that could be a bad player, because you yourself are a good player. And you know that. And because you know that, you know the enemy team is more likely to have a bad player than you are. And that's just math. That's just how that works. And so I would say, to sum this all up, if you don't want to tilt, focus on learning. Don't focus on ego and winning and being the highest rank immediately. It takes time, and you need to accept defeat sometimes. And you can't get angry at people all the time, because you know what? Chances are, if people are throwing your games, you could still be playing better. Get rid of your ego. Focus on your own gameplay. Accept that sometimes games just, you lose them. And remember that ranked is practice. Every time you play, it's practice until there are actual stakes. You need to incorporate these ideas into your gameplay. You need to remember these. That's it. You win. You don't tilt anymore. By the way, these are easier said than done. They take practice. They take practice. And remember that. Every time you find yourself tilting, remember these things. And remember to retrain your brain. Bring yourself back to calm. It takes a lot of mental strength, and you got to just practice it, really.